First of all, what a great weekend of Red Raider sports. And I want to just give a shout out to Joey and his crew. What an incredible atmosphere that was yesterday, and just the attention that they're bringing to Texas Tech. The fact that we were able to get Holly Rowe to come visit us and see our kids as well. It was just an incredible weekend. And we talked to our kids that we started it off on Thursday with a win, and we wanted to put an exclamation point on the weekend with a win today to finish it off. And so really proud of our kids for just battling through. We played 3 games in 5, 6, 7 days, and that's been kind of tough, but at the same time, it's given us a lot to look at, a lot of kids in a rotation to be able to get them a feel. We got Sydney back on the court, which is great. I think today you really got to see what Snudda's all about. I think she got the jitters out the first 2 games, and I thought she was really on point today and took over the game for us in the second quarter and blew it out. And I think we just saw some really good performances today. I mean, Gemma Nunez with 10 assists and 2 turnovers is fantastic. And Sydney's stat line was incredible for her first time back. And anyway, we have a lot of kids playing really well, but I think you can see the depth of our team. But I also want to give a shout out to our fans for coming, because I realized too that there's a thing called fan fatigue, and there's a lot of sports going on right now, but they keep coming out and supporting us, and we are really going to need them next week on Thursday. So we hope that they will rest up and come back out. But it was a great weekend of Texas Tech athletics.
Snudda, just how do you feel, being that first person off the bench as opposed to maybe being in the starting lineup? Just what are your feelings on that role?
It don't make a difference to me, because whether I start or come off the bench, it's going to be the same energy either way it goes. So, it doesn't really matter. And just what mentality do you have to have, being in that role, being someone to, be a spark off the bench? If you're a winner, you don't really think about that. At the end of the day, you know what you bring. So, to me, it don't really matter to me. That I don't really know how else to get into it. Coming off the bench don't really faze me at all.
What I love about Snudda being able to do that is that she can come in at any position. She can come in at the 4 if we need her. She can come in at the 3. She can come in at the 2. She could even come at the 1 if we needed her to do that, or the 5, to be quite honest. And so I love that she gives us an instant spark and energy, and I think it speaks to her character and about how much she loves her teammates and how much she just wants to win. She's playing the role that we've asked her to play right now, and obviously things can change, but we're all experimenting with lineups and with flow of game and just any type of thing that can give us the best chance to be victorious every night. And she's handling it like a champ, and you can just tell what kind of kid she is.
It's not just how did you get that nickname? Where did it come from?
Everyone asks me that. Honestly, I don't even have the full answer myself. Mm-hmm. It came from my dad's side, came from my grandma, but I really adopted it once I got into high school because it was unique, and I wanted to have a unique name playing basketball. So it's not really.
Say your real name for us.
Salentiana.
That would be a mouthful.
But yeah, it's not really a solidified answer where it came from, but it's just something everyone called me. I hated it at first, but I definitely adopted it in high school.
Snudda, just the end of that half, you said in the last press conference you wanted to get a little bit more active early. Is that what you're talking about? 16-0 run, you're a big part of that.
Absolutely. I do it every day, and I try to come in every day and practice and do it. And like she said, I definitely had a few jitters the first 2 games, but this game I was like, after those first 2 games, it's time for me to step up and get it going now.
And do you feel like that's kind of, not to say that you're going to go 16-0 in 2 minutes on a lot of people, but is that do you feel like that's what this team can be when y'all really get it going on both ends?
Absolutely.
Sydney, first game in a Lady Raider uniform, I guess, not Team USA, but how'd you feel out there?
I felt great. It feels good to be with my team. We've been fighting together since June, so it's good to finally, get to do it when it mainly matters.
Yeah. And you were wearing those glasses. Have you ever worn something like that before?
No, never, but it's been an adjustment, but they're good. I can see still, so
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Pretty cool.
you were perfect from the field. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
try to say I get
Not even
organized.
everybody.
Yeah, can we hand those out to the whole team?
I get the light out of my eye.
And she looks really cool.
Right?
I know they had a player coming in that dropped like 30 points in her last game. Do y'all take that a little personally coming into a game like this from a team defensive perspective?
Well, of course, we come in. It was actually one of our goals to, stop that player, not let that happen to us. And so, we kind of take pride on the defensive end. So we didn't want anybody to do that to us.
And it's not the same thing for you.
Basically what she said, we hang our head on defense, so there's no way anybody should come in here and score 30-some points on us. That means we're not doing our job. So,
And this last one for me, Holly Rowe came and visited y'all this weekend. What'd y'all take from that? You can start us.
we definitely threw out the NCAA bid. So we kind of have that pressure, no pressure, but pressure. So, I mean, yeah, pretty much that. And Sid, anything?
It was super energetic. She's super sweet. We can learn something from her story. She's a very strong woman in the world of sports. So I just think more than anything, it was a blessing to have her come into our space and, show that she believes in this team.
Snudda, I noticed you had your hand taped up, looked like the thumb. Is that new, and just how are you feeling on that hand?
Oh, it's just a little tweak that happened yesterday. I jammed my finger yesterday in practice and kind of re-jammed it again today in shoot around, but it'll be fine. As we can see. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You were great.
Coach, you sort of touched on it, but just, Snudda being in that role, when you brought her here, was that the plan, or did it just sort of work out to she's, in that 6-person role?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of worked out right now. She didn't go to Germany with us, but she practiced this summer. And so, we got a lot of other kids some time in Germany and got some flow going. And she even spoke to that she wanted to get stronger, just get back in the flow of things, because when you haven't played competitively in a year, it takes a little while. But I think, so when we got back and we started preparing for this season, I think it was just trying to find the right fit for her, even within our lineup. Is she a 4? Is she a 3? Is she a shooter? That's what she's been at Ole Miss, was a shooter. And obviously you can tell she's everything. And I think it just gives us flexibility and versatility to be able to pull somebody like that off the bench and insert them and give us an instant lift. She's such a dynamic player, and the fact that she's so unselfish and that's not really a high priority for her as to whether she starts or comes off the bench or whatever, I think just even contributes even more to the chemistry of our team.
Do you feel like that's something that's been missing the past few years, that, just instant offense off the bench?
Probably so. Yeah. I think this roster is really talented, and the fact that when you sub, we get better, it certainly helps us, or at least we don't lose our flow. But I think instant offense certainly can't hurt anytime you have it.
And you also mentioned Gemma's 10 assists. She's, had a great start to the season so far. Just how nice is it to have that stability at point guard when, whether injury or just the roster makeup these past few years, that was kind of a sore spot for y'all?
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely went to the portal looking for a true point guard, and the fact that she's a pass-first point guard, I think, is great because of the offensive weapons we have around her. But she has such an explosiveness about her. She changes pace really well. She creates for her teammates. She communicates really well. She plays just as hard on the defensive end. And she's showing us too that she can score it, which is really great. I think that people don't necessarily respect that part of her game, and the fact that she's showing people that she can score it makes her really difficult to defend. But I think also you saw that Sydney Love can play some point just as much as well, and that really helps us to be able to just give Gemma a break to give us a different look, because Sydney kind of gets to the rim a little bit different than Gemma does. Sydney shoots the three really well, and then the defensive emphasis that she plays with is fantastic as well. And then obviously Bailey is still, has experience at the point guard position for the past 2 years. So I love our point guard team, and I love how we have a lot of floor generals on the floor and can have more than one at the same time, and I think that's huge for us. But yeah, I think it's really fun to watch Gemma when she gets in the open court and really starts creating for her teammates. And I think you saw a little flashiness as well with her little behind the back pass, which I'm not sure we even knew she was capable of doing before we brought her here. But it's fun to watch her when she really gets in the flow of the game.
That 16-0 run really sparked and broke open the game. I guess from your perspective, how do they replicate at least parts of that moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's about energy and intensity, to be honest. We didn't feel like, and it's interesting, right? Like all three of these games that we've played well, and we've played with quite a bit of defensive intensity, but not always as sharp as we want it to be. As coaches, you're perfectionists when you want your team playing and you want them to do it perfect every time, and we're not always going to get that. But when we get the perfect effort from them, they're going to be really, really tough. And I think that was kind of the perfect storm, because we weren't shooting the ball really well before that 60 seconds either. And so I think when they get in the flow and their defense leads to their offense, it just gives you some momentum, as we like to call Mo. And I think they definitely got in a groove, and they'll be able to extend that type of energy and production as the season goes on.
Was that the reason for the change in the starters coming out at half? Just trying to keep that going, or?
I think more so from just production. I mean, I think if you're playing well, you're going to get extended minutes. And I thought that the kids that we put on the floor the second half were playing well and giving us better energy. And so that's what we were going for. We wanted to start the third quarter with the same type of intensity that we ended it with. So, yeah, I think that had something to do with it.
Is there still a bit of healthy competition going for that back half of the rotation?
Oh, there's no doubt there is, and there should be. I think we challenge our kids every day about competing for playing time, competing for a spot, competing to get on the floor and help their teammates. I don't think anybody wants to get stuck at the end of the bench or not in the rotation. And to me, it speaks to their character and to their competitiveness that they come to practice every day and still try to earn that, because we've got a lot of really good players, and we've got kids that are going to need to step up when we get in foul trouble, or if we have an injury, things like that. And we got to know that we can depend on them. And so I think there's a lot of competition still going on in our practices.
Defensively, I guess if you're looking for one thing, they scored like 30 points in the paint. Was any of that y'all trying to run them off the line, or is that stuff y'all are trying to clean up?
So we definitely, they definitely shoot the three well, and half of their shots came from the three in the one game that they had this year before we played them. And so that was something that we did want to contest every time. But one of our goals is always to keep people out of the paint. And so their activity on the glass was too much for us, and they were driving by us. We were letting them get to the paint and create open looks for their teammates early, and all of that got addressed at halftime, and I thought we did a better job of it in the second half.
And I asked the players about Burke, but obviously I think she scored 10 or so tonight. But how did you feel like they did
about
on
who?
her? I guess last name Burke, I believe. Or
Yes,
yeah.
I didn't know who you were talking about. Yeah. No, I thought we did a good job on her. So Sanaya Burks led the country in scoring out of her senior year in high school, and so clearly capable. So when we saw that she had 34, we definitely zoomed in on her on our scout. Our goal was to keep her in single digits, so we were 1 point short there, but it made the entire bench and coaching staff upset when I think that she hit the opening three, and that was not how that was going to go down. So I thought our kids did a pretty good job of locking in after that and really keying on her. She's a prolific scorer.
I guess Fritz probably got a good bit of that assignment. I think she led y'all by a good bit in plus or minus. I guess what did you see from her today?
Yeah, I thought Danae had a really good game. She led us with a 31 positive production, and we actually tried to emphasize to our team that whoever's had the assignment of guarding Burks, it really wasn't so much up to that person to keep her from scoring. It was really up to the other 4 because of the way they run their offense. And they like to put her opposite the ball and then try to get to the paint and have you over-rotate to help and then kick out threes for her. And then she can attack you off the dribble if you close her out. So to be honest, the ball screen defense had to be great. Our spot 1 and spot 2 coverage on the backside had to be great, so that Danae wasn't left on an island of, do I help protect the paint or do I need to run out? Because we weren't going to face guard Burks by any means. And so I thought that the first possession, we didn't have enough ball pressure for them to be able to skip it all the way, because Danae was in backside help on the post. And so she wasn't able to get out to the shooter because of the lack of ball pressure. But I thought the rest of the game, we did a pretty good job of handling that and keeping the ball sided and not letting them get to the paint and have kick out threes for her.
And was there any, I guess, communication before the season that offensive fouls, push-offs were going to be some sort of point of emphasis this year, or is it just a coincidence the first few games?
I think that they definitely are trying to change the on-ball defender, because there's not the hot stove anymore, where the second touch is automatic. Which, as coaches, we're all glad about that because it was so petty. But now I feel like they are trying to give the defense a little bit more room to be physical, and so I guess they're trying to protect that a little bit with the offensive push-offs. But I think we've got to learn how to get by our defender without creating space with the push-off or extended hand.
And then just this whole weekend as a whole, would you have been as willing to, I guess, allow a team to, 6 a.m. practice and then go enjoy game day if they weren't as mature as this group is?
Probably not. That's a really good question. And that's probably something that I discussed with them as well. Number one, I don't, they're in college one time. And for me, it really is about the college experience. I mean, I had the ultimate college experience when I was a player, and I want that for my players. And to be honest, too, I mean, that's what makes Texas Tech so unique is we're such a family, and everybody supports everybody. There's such great spirit, school spirit. And so, I mean, it's been 17 years since College Game Day came, and we've got kids that love football. You got to remember, I'm married to a football player, and so I love football too, and that's just an experience that we can practice any time of the day. We don't have to practice in the middle of the football game or in the middle of College Game Day. And the fact that they wanted to get up, actually, our 6 a.m. practice was one of our best practices we've had. Like, we all talked about that, how intense they were, how focused they were. And I'm sure it has to do with their maturity. But, they know how to work us when they want what they want.
And then just moving ahead to now, you got 3 power conference teams in a row.
Yeah.
What, I guess, most do you want them to work on before Thursday?
I think it's just a matter of our focus and understanding our game plan, and then competing at a really high level and just not making the same mistakes over. I want our defense to be really solid, and I want our offense to flow better without turning the basketball over. But I'm excited about these next 3 games. Obviously starting off with SMU is going to be great, and we need to have a great crowd here to help us. It's going to be quick turnarounds for each game after that, but I think it's going to be a great test for us, great challenge, and we're excited about it, and we're excited about having those types of teams in our facility, and it's going to be a fun week.
Yeah, Coach, 3 power conference opponents in a row. Just how important is this stretch, for your resume as a whole? When you're going to be looking back
no doubt.
in February.
Yeah, which is why we schedule them, right? Like, we're trying to get our non-conference so that we can be in a position to obviously battle in the Big 12 and to be ready for that, be prepared, but also to be able to look back in March and look at our resume and see what we did on our home court against Power 4 competition. So I think it's huge for us. It's going to also prepare us for the Big 12, and I think that's one of the reasons that we wanted to schedule them, is to see where we are early so that we still have time to fix it, and then and see what we can do back-to-back nights. I know it's not going to be back-to-back, but it's going to be pretty close, much like our conference play will be. So The physicality is going to get to us. We're going to have to make sure that we're mentally and physically tough for that. But I'm really excited about the opportunity and the challenge that's ahead.
You touched on it earlier, but what was it like having Holly here for practice?
Yeah, it was great to see Holly here. Number one, it was kind of an epiphany that I had. Just all of a sudden, I was like, my gosh, Holly Rowe's going to be here. Like, why would I would be silly not to try to reach out and get her to come into a women's basketball practice. And I knew that she would. She's such a great advocate for women's sports in general. But I just wanted our team, too, to have that experience. I wanted them to actually hear me tell them, hey, we want her to know who the Lady Raiders are, so that when we hear our name in March, she can talk very fluently about us and about this day and this weekend, and also talk about Lubbock and just the experience and the exposure that Lubbock and Texas Tech got over the weekend is second to none. And obviously, kudos to Joey and his squad for getting that done for us, for all of us. But we got to take advantage of those opportunities when we get people in Lubbock. We got to hook them.
She shared a special connection from her early days to you. What was that?
Yeah, I had no idea. She went to Utah, the University of Utah, and she wanted to be a sports commentator. And whenever I guess she tried to get I don't know what it's called, but some type of radio gig, if you will, to be able to broadcast women's sports. And so her first or second game that she ever broadcast was when Texas Tech played at Utah my senior year. And she said she went back to look. She goes, I know that it was Swoops. I know Swoops was on that team. So she knew that if Swoops was there, I was there. And it was just so funny for her to say that, because I had no idea, had absolutely no idea that that's where she started her career. But what's super interesting about that is we got spanked that year at Utah, and that's the year we won the national championship. So that was one of 3 losses that we had. And so for her to call it, she goes, I called when y'all won the national championship. I was like, but thank goodness we had that game, because it kind of woke us up and set us on our sights for the national championship. But very cool story. It shows you what a small world it is, but also to where she came from, right? I mean, she came from, putting herself out there, and she followed her dream, and look where it's taken her now. And it's just super cool to see it come full circle.
Coach, you've talked multiple times with us about the cohesion of the group and how they've been able to blend together. Obviously, the Team USA stuff helped with that. But how do you want to see that improve as you head into this stretch and through the rest of the non-conference slate?
Yeah, I want them to continue to just really be connected on the court. They all get along so well off the court. That's fantastic. But when they're on the court, I want to see more huddles. I want to see more arm-in-arm linked. I want to see more conversation amongst themselves, so that they can control momentum, if you will. When we feel like we're losing momentum, that they can gather up and get control of it without us having to call a timeout. And even when we've got it going, I want them to be able to talk to one another to where they can demand things from one another. If somebody's falling short, rebounding, that they can get their attention and call each other out, and know that it comes from a place of love, and that they're all trying to get to the same spot. And I really see that happening. We got better and better even over these last 3 games. But I think that's going to be huge for us moving forward. And that's one of the reasons, too, that I like our short roster, is that I just think that, we don't have any distractions. They're all in it for the same reason, and they're really, really connected. So hopefully we'll continue to move forward with that.
And then my second one, especially today, but you've been challenged physically in all these games by these teams you've scheduled, and I'm sure you thought of that when you were trying to pick the teams you wanted to play. But we've been talking so much about the teams you're going to be playing in a few weeks, but how much did these matchups and the physicality that Texas State brought today help with that process of transitioning over to these next 3 matches?
Yeah, it even started with our scrimmage. We scrimmaged A&M knowing that they would be super physical, knowing that's an SEC team, knowing that we were going to play some SEC teams second, third week of the season. So that physicality really prepared us. I think NC, A&T, very physical team. UTSA was very physical. And then Texas State is athletic. I mean, they're really athletic and quick. And so I think all those things have helped us realize how physical we have to be, how much we have to be willing to, use our bodies and sacrifice our bodies to be to control the boards, loose balls, whatever that might be. And I think our team just keeps getting tougher and tougher. But I certainly think it's preparing us for what's to come. All right, thank you guys.